So first we're going to prep Yesenia's skin with a little bit of facial lotion. Just going to apply it on my palette, and with my Esom brush, I'm just going to swipe and push the product on her skin all around, and especially targeting those higher movement areas, such as around the mouth, forehead, under eyes. And just really make sure we're taking the time to work that product into the skin. That way it doesn't dilute down any of the foundation that we apply over it. All right, so we're gonna base match Yesenia's base color. We have the N5, the N6, and the N7. We got this N6 by mixing the 5 and 7 together. On the face, she's looking a little bit more like an N5. On the chest, she's looking a little bit more like the N6. And if I actually look on the shoulders and on her legs, which you can't see, she does pull a little bit deeper. So I'm gonna go in and kind of blend her chest into her face. I'm gonna go in with this N6. I have mixed her N6 here, and I'm gonna drop a little bit of oil on my palette. And using a sponge, I am going to load up my sponge with a little bit of oil and then pick up some of this N6. What that does is it kind of shears out the application of this foundation a little bit. So I'm stippling the product on with my sponge and then using the back of it to kind of blend and push into the skin. And as you can see, we're starting to warm up her face so it blends nicely into the chest. And if you are working from the side of your client and you need to get to the other side, just simply direct their face so that you can reach to that side. Another thing I would like to point out is that if you're right-handed, you'll want to stand to the right of your client. And if you're left-handed, stand to the left. This will make it much easier when reaching across for positioning. Then I added a bunch of oil to the rest of the product I have left on my palette. Now I'm bringing down the color into her chest area so that it blends, just to even out the texture and the color. Now I'm going in with a number 5. It's the fully concentrated product without any oil in it, so that way it gives the maximum coverage. I'm just stippling it under the eye, and go ahead and close your eyes, and then running it across her lid. I chose the number 5 because I wanted it to brighten her up a little bit without being too high contrast. Same thing on the other side. Just stippling lightly. As you may notice, I'm using the smaller part of my sponge. And I'm lightly pressing without a lot of pressure. I want to make sure to blend this product into the number 6 that's on her face for a seamless transition. Go ahead and close. And taking this all across the lid and blending. Anywhere that I need a little extra coverage, like right in the inner corners here, I'm going to go in with a small brush. This is the Esom T41, and lightly place a little extra coverage in that area. Now that I have the product in place, I'm just going to lightly tap and push that product into the skin. The more you press into the skin, the less it will crease and look cakey. Place a little bit of powder under her eye by tapping it in and swiping out. I do this immediately to prevent any creasing to happen over time. As you can see, the shine starts to disappear and it has a nice matte finish under the eye. With what's left on my brush, I'm going to dust on her eye. And blend out. I'd like a natural finish on her face, so I'm just going to lightly dust a little bit of powder on the forehead, down the nose, top of the lip, and in the chin. Now we're going to add some warmth to her skin with a little bit of blush. She is kind of a 5, 6, 7, so I'm going to kind of play in this middle range here. So I'm going to pick up some of that product, tap it out, and I'm going to start at the back of the cheek and then blend forward. And just lightly dusting. I don't want to pick up too much product. I'd like for it to build. I'm starting at the back of the cheek. Go ahead and rotate your head this way. So that way the product is depositing on the back and tapering forward. And rotate towards me. Perfect. Same thing on the other side. I'm lifting my brush up right just on the outside of that eye. If I were to drag the product in towards the center of the face, it could look a little muddy. And just feathering my edges and blending up. Look straight ahead. And just blending up and tapping all over the face with whatever is left on my brush. Now I'm going to add some shimmer to her face. I'm going to highlight. I'm going to go in with this medium color. And I'm just going to, right on the tops of those cheekbones, I'm going to tap this right on top. I'm using a tapping motion because I want to place the product very precisely. If I were to flick, I'd end up getting highlighter or shimmer in places I don't want it. So with a tapping motion, I just kind of work and even tap with my finger and blend it where I want it. And this adds a really pretty dewy look. I'm going to neutralize her eyelid with this color here, just to make sure everything is nice and even. Go ahead and close, and then tilt your head back for me. I like to have her tilt her head back, so that way it reduces the chances of any shadow fallout. Really just working this product all over the lid, and especially into that upper brow area. You can use a shadow cream to do this, like the Danessa Myricks Nude 2, or you can just do this with a quick nude shadow. Now I'm going to go in and pick a color wash. I'm thinking this brown is really pretty. Because I want this to be more of a wash of a color, I am using a looser brush, so it will deposit a little bit more loosely. Starting in the center of the eye, I'm just going to move the product to the left and to the right and up into that crease until it lightly blends and fades into the skin. Depositing the product into the center and swiping it in, out, and up until the color just washes over the lid and fades into the skin. With my Esom W21 brush, I'm going to go in with the same color and go underneath the eye. This is a smaller brush for a smaller area of the face. Go ahead and look up to the sky. I do have a little bit of creasing. I'm just going to smooth that out real quick. It does happen. And then I'm just going to lightly start in the middle of the eye and feather in and out and down. In the center, blending back and forth and widening my range with that brush stroke and feathering it down. And checking for balance and making sure everything is looking nice and even. Now to add a little bit of a pop of highlight in her inner corner, I'm going to go in with this really pretty gold, and I'm going to tap this product into the inner corner. Go ahead and close your eyes. Tap. And just work the product in and out until the edges are nice and feathered, but offer a really pretty highlight. Just a tapping motion. Again, depositing the color where I want it to be, and then lightly feathering it in and out. Now I'm going to go in with my Esom dual-sided pencil in brown. Go ahead and close your eyes. And I'm just going to start on the outside and kind of flick out towards me and work my way in. This way I'm layering and making sure I'm getting a full coverage around that lash line. And then I'm working my way back. Before I go to the other eye, I'm going to go ahead and smudge this out with a Esom T05 and just kind of smudge the top area of that liner. This gives it a nice soft look, but still gives a little bit of a pop on the eye. Go and open. Starting in the outer corner and flicking out and working my way in. Notice I am taking my thumb and pulling up her brow so I can get into that inner corner. And then working my way back out. This can easily be done with the color black, but for a softer look, I chose a nice deep brown. Again, I'm just feathering the top of that liner that I placed so that it's darker at the lash line and lightly fades into that shadow. Now I'm going to go in under her eye, and I'm going to start on the outside, right in that lash line, and just do the outer third. And making sure it goes all the way up into that top liner. Then I'm going to smudge that outer third and blend it into the center. And from there, that color will just taper off and stay light in the inner corner. So again, on the outer third, making sure it connects up into that top liner. And then smudging it into the center and softening down. I'm going to apply my mascara with a T11 fan brush from Esem. Go and look up to the sky. I'm going to apply to the lower lashes first by just feathering the mascara, painting it on, starting at the lash line and blending out. The reason I have her look up and I do the lower lashes before I do the upper is because if I have her look up after I have done her upper lashes, there's a good chance that I will get mascara on the lid. Go and look straight ahead. To do the upper lashes, have her look down to the ground, and I'm going to lift. This gives me a really good placement to get right into the little lash area without jamming a brush into her eye.